A common question we get from our Viking clients is whether an expedition cruise is an appropriate choice for them, and just how an expedition cruise and an expedition ship are different from Viking's regular ships. I'm Bob Bradley from the Pampered Cruiser, and if you're planning a trip on Viking or really any other small ship, ocean, river, or expedition cruise line, then we'd love to help you out. We know the products and the destinations very well, and we can always get you additional amenities that are not available on direct bookings. Also, click on the link below to sign up for our free weekly email newsletter that features travel tips, informative articles, and exclusive offers delivered straight to your mailbox every Friday. In this video, we explore 5 things you'll find to be different on Viking's expedition ships and cruises than on a regular ocean cruise. We'll also take a backstage look at the hangar, the area where they keep the submarines, special operations boats, and expedition equipment. First, a point of clarity insofar as who goes on Viking expedition cruises. The short answer is it's the same clientele as Viking River and Viking Ocean cruises. The word expedition doesn't mean you have to be an Olympic athlete or a hardcore outdoor adventurer. It does mean you have to have a curiosity and interest in the more remote places on the planet, and you like to be active on vacation. Most of the people on Viking expedition ships are of average fitness and mobility levels. If you can walk up and down 2 flights of stairs and get in and out of a bathtub unassisted, you'll be fine. Okay, here are the 5 ways that Viking Expedition is different than Viking Ocean. Most obviously, the size of the ship and the number of guests. The regular Viking Ocean ships are 48,000 tons and carry 930 guests when fully loaded. This makes Viking Ocean amongst the most generous space per passenger ratios at sea. Viking Octantis and Polaris, as expedition ships, have even more space. At just over 30,000 tons and holding just 378 guests, there is a ton of room on these ships. The Viking expedition ship will feel very familiar to Viking Ocean guests. The same restaurants and entertainment venues are on board, and the rooms and public spaces are very similar. See our ship tour video of Viking Polaris to get an in-depth look at the Viking expedition ships. The link is in the notes below. Number 2, expedition activities plus regular shore excursions. In the more remote port stops, Viking Octantis and Polaris will offer guests the opportunity to explore a destination by kayak, zodiac, special operations boat, or even submarine. All of these goodies are contained in an area called the hangar, and we were offered a private tour of that area on board Polaris.
Hatch is open.
Yeah, okay.
So don't jump in the water.
Let's see the hatch.
Yeah, so now we can see how it looks when it's open.
Wow.
The same on the other side as well. We have the whole crane basically sliding out. You can see the 2 big hooks,
Yeah.
that's for the submarines, and the small hook is for the zodiac and kayak. So the whole thing slides out, and then we can drop it in the water.
The hangar is located on deck A at the aft of the ship, where the large shell doors open up on both sides and at the aft of the vessel to release all this equipment. The Zodiacs are used both for exploring the local area as well as providing transportation back and forth on shore landings where there aren't any dock facilities, like in the polar regions, as well as the more remote areas of the Great Lakes. Tandem kayaks are available for guided explorations of local areas. If you don't have previous experience in a kayak, you'll be made to feel safe and comfortable while out for a paddle. The Special Operations Boat is a modified jet boat that takes out 12 guests at a time with 2 crew and can reach speeds of up to 40 knots. And the crown jewel of the hangar are the 2 yellow submarines whose names on Octantis are John and Paul, and on Polaris, George and Ringo. It turns out that Thor Hagen is a huge Beatles fan.
Normal situations when passengers would come on board. So they would step on the black patches here, hold onto the railing, walk up. Put on the seat, swing their legs over the side here, basically facing outwards, holding on to the sides, and then ladders down through the hatch.
These submarines hold 6 guests plus a pilot and will make 8 to 12 dives per day for 45 minutes at a time. The submarines are in use in Antarctica and in the Canadian waters of the Great Lakes.
Go.
I came in with you.
Entertainment plus lectures. On a regular Viking ocean ship, there's entertainment on board like you'd expect on any cruise ship. On the expedition ships, there's not Vegas-style production shows, but there are musical entertainment acts such as a piano player or a light rock duo in the Explorer's Lounge. In addition to this, there are lectures and enrichment activities specific to the area through which you're sailing. This is the aula, which would be traditionally the theater on board many cruise ships, but here on the expedition ship, this is where the expedition team does their daily briefings. You can also watch them in your room if you prefer, but lots of folks come here to listen to the expedition team or to lectures that happen. And what makes this different than other theaters is, as you can see, it's completely open. There's 270-degree views in here to the outside. Now, they do pull down a screen here at times if there's and darken it up if the presentation would warrant that. But what a spectacular space to come and listen to a lecture. You can imagine how cool this would be with icebergs in Antarctica and penguins floating in the background. The expedition team is responsible for taking you out on the equipment I described earlier, and they also have qualifications such as being geologists, oceanographers, biologists, geologists, ornithologists, and a variety of other subject matter areas to help guests better understand the ecology, environment, and wildlife of the region. Number 4, what you pack. Your clothes plus expedition gear. One thing potentially holding people back from exploring polar regions on an expedition ship is the extra clothes and footwear required for potentially colder climates. Viking's got you covered here. All the gear you'll need to participate in the landing activities in the polar regions, or the Great Lakes for that matter, is provided for you, including boots, which should save some space in your luggage. On the polar region itineraries, they also provide you with an expedition jacket that's yours to keep afterwards as a souvenir. And finally, number 5, citizen science projects. As mentioned earlier, the expedition team consists of a slew of experts in a wide variety of fields. They put their expertise to work doing scientific research and experiments in the more remote locations the ships visit. As a guest on board, you can participate in the activities or field work with one of Viking's scientific research partners. A few examples are the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, or Cambridge University's Scott Polar Research Institute, and the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. So those are the differences of a Viking expedition ship, so let's briefly chat about what's the same on board a Viking expedition ship compared to Viking ocean ships. Well, first of all, who's on board? And this may seem counterintuitive if your perception of an expedition cruise is about ultra-fit young people engaging in challenging and athletic feats of strength. But as mentioned previously, the people on Viking Expedition are not much different than those on board Viking River or Ocean. If you wanted to visit Antarctica or the Arctic Circle and you're worried about this, it might be worth doing a Great Lakes cruise first. It's closer to home and it'll give you a reasonable feel for what an expedition cruise is all about. Number 2, food and dining options. Viking River and Ocean clients will find the dining on the expedition ships to be very familiar. There's a main dining room as well as Manfredi's Italian restaurant, and up on deck number 5 is the World Cafe with an assortment of different foods from across the globe. If you'd like a more in-depth view of the ship and its amenities, please see our ship tour video. The link is in the notes below. Number 3, no children under 18 and no casinos. Viking has always been very specific about what it is and what it's not, and that promise is delivered on Viking Octantis and Polaris just like it is in their ocean fleet. And finally, public spaces on the ships. Viking River and Ocean clients will recognize the Aquaview Terrace and the Explorer's Lounge, as well as plenty of outdoor spaces. There's also an incredible spa, an indoor pool, and an outdoor plunge pool on Octantis and Polaris. If you enjoyed this video, then give us a thumbs up, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you'd like to book a cruise on Viking, or really any other small ship, ocean, river, or expedition cruise line, then we'd love to help you out. Here's our contact information, and it's also included in the notes below. Thanks for watching.